Make your death save.
Okay, here we go. Ah, shit. That's another fail.
3 in a row. Let's have Kasim sheet, Bill.
Wait.
You are such a dick.
It's 5 things the GM should not do when the character dies. This week on the Dungeon Master's Dojo.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Dungeon Master's Dojo podcast. This is a show for game masters and players alike. We hope to bring you tips and tricks to elevate your game and develop the art of dungeon mastery. I'm your host, Louis Aponte, and these are your Dungeon Masters, Scott Labby and Bill Robotile. Let's enter the dojo and see what they have in store for us today.
Hey, Bill. He's such a dick.
I'm sad.
I don't even know what to say. I don't even want to acknowledge
I
it.
really like that character.
Keep calling me a dick and I'll rip up your sheet.
Hi, Scott. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing fine now.
You're a dick. You already ripped up my
I've
sheet.
heard that before.
You already ripped up my sheet.
Yeah, we're talking character death.
I used to like him.
You'll get over it.
Characters dying sucks.
It does. It's hard. Not like hard like it's hard to die in 5e because it
It's
really
not.
is hard to die in 5e.
Yeah.
It's nearly impossible. But hard in that your players are emotionally invested in their characters and, if you're doing a good job running, in other players' characters. This is a make it or break it moment for the DM. How to handle the death of a character is equally important to how you should not handle the death of a character.
But what did you just do to Bill?
I ripped up his sheet, but I know Bill has 3 others.
Okay, you got me there.
I'll rip them up later.
Good thing it's saved to the hard drive.
Yep.
And
Deleted.
backed up.
And I got copies too.
Going to Lou's house.
And it's on the cloud.
Can't reach the cloud. Too high.
All right. So character death sucks by a ton. We've staged character deaths in our scenarios.
NPCs.
NPCs, yes. We've staged the death of PCs as well.
I remember that one year.
But that was the culmination of a very long scenario. So it was kind of like the epic ending. But in the middle of a campaign, kind of unexpected, it could catch the DM and the player off balance.
Yeah.
So how do we go about not pissing everybody off?
Yeah, when characters die, people are going to be upset. They're going to be pissed, but it's part of the career path, right, that an adventurer takes.
Yeah,
it
should be expected.
Yeah.
It can happen. Now, granted, in 5e, it can happen considerably less than in the old days, but it can still happen.
Yeah, not like back in the old days where your magic user can walk out the front door and get bitten by a cat, take 1 hit point of damage and die.
And die, yes.
Way harder. And I think that cheapens the danger and the adventure in the game when it's really, really hard to die.
Mortality is part of the game. You're carrying swords. If you can kill everything you walk across, you need to be ready for things bigger and badder than you to pull out a bigger sword and kill your lame ass.
So I guess the big question is, how do you make it not meaningless?
Well, you don't kick in the outhouse door and shoot the character while he's on the shitter, right?
Unless you're doing the shooting.
How about when you're standing on top of a table and they challenge you?
They challenged you before you were standing on top of the table, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
You were seated during dinner, being all prim and proper. Then they challenged you, and then you decided to jump on
But
top
you
of the
didn't
table.
die.
Right,
But
but I was using a role reversal there.
Yeah. Don't have death be meaningless. There should be some sacrifice for the greater good of the story, the party. It shouldn't just be, okay, you're dead.
Even if it's just a point where it becomes a rallying point. You know, they're dead. It's meaningless unless we finally coalesce. Go the Avengers route, where everyone's kind of doing their own thing, and then some meaningless little NPC that stood up to the big bad gets wasted, and they all went, we can't let his death be for naught. So yeah, you're right. Let it have meaning.
Yeah, and make it good. You know, was it Willem Dafoe in Platoon?
Platoon, yeah.
Yeah, when he didn't quite make it to the chopper, you know, he gets wasted, and it's like this big epic death scene. Of course, there's situations where dice rolls are just not in your favor, and a PC could end up dead, and that happens. Right,
Yeah, but
there's
if,
not a heck of a lot you could do about that.
yeah, but if you're behind the screen, you can always hide those a little bit.
You can make modifications as you go. Yes, certainly. To leave it just up to the randomness of the dice isn't always the best practice, but it shouldn't always be like, you know, Fudge City behind the screen or in front of the screen for those barbarous individuals that don't use a screen and don't have any organization in their DM
As
toolkit.
opposed to those nefarious and people who have to hide things. But no, I get it. I get it. But again, I believe I mentioned otherwise. If it looks like the dice rolls are going really bad, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to kill the character.
Right.
You can maim the shit out of them.
Right. I was about to say, like, you know, the example of, you know, rolling 3 nat ones. And the old school, we did that. There was a percentage of death. I know in one episode, Bill talked about instead of killing them, you can have their arms pinned or their legs pinned. You know, do something like that.
Yeah,
different.
that's right, because it's a called shot.
Yes.
You know, it's, or I'm going to incapacitate you so I can torment you and torture you even more. So I pinned your foot to the root of the tree you're standing next to, and the next critical hit pinned your hand to the tree itself, and then the one after that, you know, caught your abdomen, but it's right on the side. So yeah, every time you move sideways, it does 1 more point damage, but not enough to kill you. So he's doing called shots with those natural 20s and not full damage. So you take normal weapon damage, but you're not dead. You're not taking double, and that's where those of us that don't hide behind a screen, we use those scenarios as opposed to, you know, oh well, here's all the damage you took.
Yeah, which is great if you were talking about how 5 things a GM should not do when they're maiming the shit out of a character. But we're talking about what you shouldn't do when a character dies.
My example I was going with is like, I know we used to use if you roll 3 nat failures, it was death.
It was death, yeah.
But now we don't have to do that, is what we're saying. You can find some, and still you can still use Bill's example of maiming yourself now or doing something to yourself instead of killing yourself outright.
Well, to Scott's point, they're going to die. All right, we're dealing with death here.
Yeah.
They're dead. They just don't know it yet. So we give them a critical wound that doesn't instantly kill them. Let them have a monologue, or let them listen to the bad guy's monologue, or let the bad guy taunt the rest of the party into, this is what I did to your friend, this is what I'm going to do you next. And let it go on to a 3-4 minute, you know, get up on the soapbox and ha, 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 this is what I did. And try to rally, you know, as a game master, rally the troops against the person who did so. So that way the death is still there, but it's not meaningless. It doesn't necessarily go, okay, you're dead.
It doesn't end there.
Do me a favor, go sit in the other room while we keep playing.
Yeah, let them fight on. You know, maybe they're bleeding out. You know, give them a send off like Boromir.
I knew you were gonna go there.
In the Fellowship of the Ring. You know his ass was grass. It was coming. Even if you didn't read the books. And if you didn't read the books, shame on you. Go read them.
Neanderthals.
Savages. But give them a send off like that. You know, let them have the opportunity to take blow after blow from swords or arrows or whatnot, and just go out like a big old badass.
So with that, I died. I want to create a new character.
Yeah.
Can I do it now?
No. Never let them roll the new character at the table. Because number one, it distracts the whole table. They're asking questions. Just cut. All right. Tell you, if you have to cut your session short, wrap up what you're doing and go, okay, we're gonna bail a little bit early tonight, and then let them make their character asks after the session's over, but not during gameplay.
It's just it's not fun for the player. It's not fun for the other players at the table too, because there's a need to collaborate with the GM. So the GM really can't take the time from running the table to, be present for the player making a new character. And as Bill said, cut the sessions short. It's having them sit there and just, kind of like watch the game. That's no fun for that player.
Especially if it's towards the end of the evening. Okay, let them sit there for 15, 20 minutes and mull it over. They're going to get a couple jabs from the game master. Hopefully not too many. They're definitely going to get jabs from the players. But it's 15, 20 minutes. Okay. But if it's the beginning of the session, because the dice just didn't like the player, he failed, the game master's dice are hot, or it was a simple jump. It's 10 feet. Oh, my strength is 15. All right. Yeah. It's a DC 3 on the jump. Okay. Oh, I rolled in that one. Okay, the ledge crumbled under your foot. Okay, just give me an athletics roll and just grab the other side. You can hoist yourself up. DC 5. I rolled a 2. That edge crumbled. Okay, maybe there's a root right below you. All right, another bad roll. Okay, you're plummeting to the bottom of the pit. You're dead. It sucks. I get it. It's the beginning of the night. Then it's like, okay, if they need to roll a character then and there, if they say, oh, I'm going to roll another character, do another room.
Let's take a moment to talk about our sponsor.
You're a new DM who wants to jump behind the screen. Maybe you've been volunteered by your gaming group, but aren't quite ready. What if I were to tell you that I can put a team of professional writers alongside you at your desk while you're prepping your game? Sounds pretty good, huh? With Describe, we can do just that. These narratives vividly describe monsters, places, spells, people, you name it. It's there, and there are more than 6,000 of these easy-to-search up, copy, and pastable, beautifully written narratives right at your fingertips. Describe has graciously provided us with a discount for our listeners. Head on over to describe.com/DMD. Use the code DMD at checkout to try Describe for 2 weeks for free. Links will be in the show notes.
And now, back to the show.
Remove them from the playing table. Don't let them do it there, because the players themselves are going, where are you going to play next? We could really use a this. There's going to be the crosstalk. There's going to be the suggestions. All right, if you feel compelled as a player to make your character, and game masters, if you feel compelled to let them go into the other room, go down the hall. Don't do it at the gaming table.
Yeah, I think even certainly cutting that session short is a good thing, because you have that player's emotional investment in their character, especially if they've been playing it for a while. And then there's the other players at the table who have formed a bond with that character, who may be like, oh shit, so-and-so's gone. And, we'd been adventuring for a long time in this campaign with that particular character. So it's a loss for everybody if you've been involved in that campaign for a while. If it's like your first session,
it hurts a little less.
Yeah. It's just, I just came up with a name,
Well, it hurts a little bit less for the other players. There are some people that pour their heart into their character before it even makes the table.
Yeah.
Think Tom. Tom writes a biography for his characters before it even makes the table. They have a lot invested into it before it even a single die is rolled on the table. But there are other people involved. It is a communal game. So, okay, early on, all right, that sucked. That sucked hard. But you need to do something about it. And the other players, oh, dude, that really sucks for you. Okay, whose initiative is it? They're going to pass on. They haven't had a chance to get invested in it. If they do, great. If not, it depends on when the dice go south on you.
Yeah, it's always a good thing to have a one shot kind of tucked away somewhere for situations like that, where
Good
especially
call.
if it's in the beginning of a session, before the pizza's even cold, someone bites it.
Well, damn well, and it's happened to both of us, I can guarantee multiple times, that you've centered your scenario around that character.
Yep.
And then they shit the bed on you.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn.
Yep. Time to play a one shot.
A little bit of rethink going on. Yeah, the one shot, pull the one shot out and go with that. So, to our opening point, ripping up the character sheet.
Yeah, dick move.
Dick move, Scott.
Dick
move.
move.
Yeah, I've had GMs rip character sheets, and I wanted to throat punch them because it's just kind of symbolic of.
The throat punch.
No, I've had them rip up my character sheets, and I've wanted to throat punch them because it's symbolic of like douchebaggery of an epic level.
I can honestly say I have never ripped up a character sheet. Although I have people.
Kasim is my first.
I'm glad you're on your first. Dick. I've had people, I've gotten their character sheet and I grabbed it and I kind of handed it back to him and he went, "Oh, well, you crumpled the character. Obviously he's dead." And I've had the player rip up his character sheet going, "What are you doing?" "Well, you were discarding it." I said, "No, I handed it back to you and you kind of grabbed it gruffly and crumpled your character sheet. I did nothing to it." "Oh, well, that was my buddy Zip way back when. His nickname was Zip. And he ripped up his own character sheet because he thought I was discarding his character sheet." I went, "No, dude, don't do that." I admonished a player for ripping up his own character sheet. It's like, no. There was a chance that you could be saved. A chance. And you never gave anyone an opportunity. And you literally just confettied the crap out of your character sheet. Because he went to town on it. But yeah, as a game master, don't do that.
I would suggest instead, I've always liked the idea of a cemetery for fallen heroes. You know, you have a binder, maybe, okay, next session, what I want you to do is I want you to, either email me your character so I could print it up on some nice resume paper or something like that and pay tribute to the character by sliding them in some sheet protectors in the binder. That's, the cemetery, and keep it on the shelf or on display somewhere for game night. Because it's a nostalgia piece too. It's like, you're just kind of hanging out waiting for the game to start and people are flipping through the
Remember your character? Yeah, didn't he have? Oh, wait a minute. Let me go to the binder.
I remember the dragon that, ate this guy, or the giant that stepped on this guy, or the epic duel that this one lost, and give them a place of honor at the table if they've become a fallen character.
It's funny you mentioned that because the previous gaming group that I was with, Travelers Unlimited, way back when in the 80s and 90s, we did have a spot on a bookcase for the fallen characters. And as a game master one time, I went to that. Everyone came in, "What are we going to play tonight?" And I grabbed that binder. And I randomly pulled out character sheets and handed them out blindly to the characters. "This is what you're playing tonight." And there was characters from first level all the way up to 15th. "This is what you're playing tonight." And they're like, okay. I said, "You have 1/2 of an hour to familiarize yourself with that character. In the meantime, I'm going to go to a corner and pour myself a drink. But let me know when you guys are all ready. You have a minimum, or you have a maximum of a half an hour. When you're all set, let me know." And there was people that had characters from people that have no longer been with this group for a year, 2 years. I don't even know who this person is. Doesn't matter who the person is. The player, read the character. And we had some fun times with a bunch of dead people. But yeah, we had the
characters,
morgue.
make believe people.
We had them. We called it the morgue, and I pull character sheets out of the morgue and hand them out every once in a while. So let's move on, shall we? The one that always aggravated the living crap out of me. Don't let the party loot the corpse of their fallen friend.
Didn't that happen to you once?
Dick move again. Yeah.
Huge dick move.
Yes, that did happen to me once. And I wasn't dead.
I remember
Yeah.
you telling that story.
I wasn't dead, so I just kind of laid there pantsless.
I'm not even going to ask why you were pantsless.
They took all his clothes.
They took my pants. Bunch of assholes.
And it wasn't me.
It wasn't Lou.
No, Lou would just
not
stab
Lou.
him in the leg and run away. Oh, wait, that wasn't you. That was somebody else.
Playing me.
Wasn't even playing you. It just played someone like you.
It's kind of it's poor etiquette to
Yeah.
do that.
It's humiliating in some ways.
Yeah, it's like our
This is my friend, my comrade, and I bring up my sword to defend him. Oh, he's dead?
I'm taking his boots.
yeah,
What's in his
he's got-
pockets?
yeah, he's got some nice stuff.
Wow, I could use that. That's cool. Oh, sorry, Ralph, but you're dead.
But how do you stop something like that? Or how do you? I shouldn't say stop because the characters want. If the players want to do it, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
How do you steer them away from doing something like that?
I would make a suggestion to the player of the fallen character. It's divvy up your possessions amongst your comrades. And then that's basically their last will and testament.
Yeah, one of those during the conversations around the fires. I'm sure at one point, if I die,
Yeah.
all right, you get this, and you get this, and you get this, and you get it. Well, all right, what am I going to get if you die? You get my wineskin. But you got a really cool sword. Yeah, but you're a freaking drunk. So you get my wineskin. But those conversations
Yeah.
inevitably amongst adventurers are going to come up. So you're right. Have the player determine. Well, around the campfires, we've already determined that I would give you this, and you this, and you this, and you this, so that, you all know who is expected to get what.
Yeah, and then, inevitably you'll have a player that'll be like, well, I'm going to take their stuff. And it's like, my next question would be, okay, why? Come up with it. And I'm not going to say you can't, but why?
And as the other players, I'd be like, if I see somebody do it, can I really trust that person after this point?
Yep.
Now,
Because you're not going to pickpocket someone's sword,
no,
or their
it's going to
quiver,
be
or their
obvious.
bow, or their backpack, or
Yeah.
whatever.
Gee, a magic item that he used 3 times just in the last week, and all of a sudden
showed
you
up.
have it.
Yeah.
Now this might be the evil, notorious, mean, rotten bastard that I am, but I've let people do that, and then the first time they try to use a magic item, it backfires, and they can't figure out why, and then they do an identify or something like that, and it turns out to be cursed. Wait a minute, he had it and it wasn't cursed. How do you know it wasn't cursed? Maybe they were dealing with the curse.
Or how do you know that? Because you did this
Because
to
you
him.
took it from them.
Yeah, now it
He
is cursed.
Cursed it.
Yes.
So I've cursed a lot of magic items that people have scavenged off your fallen comrades, especially those that tend to be a little bit more sneaky about how they acquire things.
I do like that idea because I kind of did something similar in one of my games where everybody got something, but it was always from a fallen person. So
Yeah.
they always had some sort, I won't say sentience, but they had some sort of,
Detriment?
well, the item had a little bit of will itself because
There you
from
go.
his previous owner.
Yeah,
So you can do something like that as well.
right. Yeah, I was notorious for cursing the
Yeah.
crap out of shit.
Well, once it has a will, it's kind of is a curse.
It
if
is
you
a
don't-
curse
yeah,
because it's going to do what it wants to do as
Or-
opposed to what you want it to
or
do.
try to exact its will upon you.
You're right.
So it's a good way to help the players steer away from that sort of behavior, maybe.
Yep. So yeah, there's a couple different ways to go about it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was a little more old school and a little bit more mean, I guess.
But why? And I want to know
Yeah.
the reason. Like, why?
Why would you loot your own party? Like I said, this is supposed to be your friend.
Yeah.
Your fallen. I mean, if you've been traveling for any amount of time, there had to be an instance in combat where this person's holding up the left flank. It may not have protected you directly, but this person is. No one came to your left and attacked you, did they? Because this person was standing there and they took the hits and they delivered and they felled the beast or creature or monster or whatever that was on the left hand side, and they protected everyone else. Now they may not have been standing next to you, and that beast may not have come run up and on you, but you weren't attacked from the left, were you? Because of that person. And isn't that enough to say, okay, maybe I shouldn't loot this person's body?
Exactly. Well, let's make some clarification here too.
Okay.
We're talking about trying to sneakily loot somebody. Now, let's say Bill's character's fallen, and we didn't have that conversation.
You mean
around
Kasim, the one who's got the ripped up
Yes.
character sheet out in front of me?
We didn't have that conversation.
Yep.
We, as a party, could say, "Hey, he's no longer with us. What should we do with the things? Should he be buried with them? Should we divide him against the party?" That's a little different.
That's communal, yeah.
Yeah. Other than I'm going to take that ring off of his finger and put it in my pocket till later. that's looting.
That's looting,
That's
yes.
a big difference.
Yep.
So I want to make
Yeah.
that little.
It is a big difference.
Absolutely, yeah. If it becomes like, or let's take his possessions.
Yes.
He's dead.
Yes, exactly.
He can't use that ring or that amulet or that weapon or that armor. Do we bury him with it? Can anyone use this armor? This armor, magical or not, is really good armor.
Yeah.
Will it help protect somebody else? Because as a fallen character, when he was alive, he was protecting everybody. I think passing his armor on to someone else to help protect him is in the same vein.
It's almost honorable in
That
a way.
would
'cause
that would fly. All right,
you're honoring him.
I'm wearing his armor. That's
Yeah.
awesome. All right. Well, he's a human, and the entire party's gnomes and halflings.
Yep.
All right. Maybe we're gonna bury him with that stuff.
That's different. That's
Right.
So that's not looting. I just wanted to make
that's
the
not
difference.
looting. That's the party coming to a decision of what items that person owns that could benefit the group to further the campaign, the quest. That's fine. That's not looting.
No, 'cause
looting is. All right, I'm going to
the
take
road-
this, and no one
Yes.
else knows.
I've
because
seen that far too often.
Oh, we have all seen
Yep.
it far too often.
And it's the rogues that do that, and
Most oftenly.
because you're a rogue doesn't mean that you're a shitty human being. It just means that you have a certain skill set that is such that you
Acquire things.
If
Yeah.
you're a rogue, you should still be honorable. And these are, again, groups of people that have helped protect you. So you can employ your skill set.
to the point of having the party divvy it up. The fallen player really needs to have some feedback in that, or else you start getting some kind of bad feelings
Yeah.
at the table. And take into account too, like culture with the character that's fallen. Perhaps the warrior is their religion. They go somewhere like Valhalla, right? So you don't want to show up in
Empty-handed.
Valhalla with just your drawers on,
Yeah.
right? Because everybody took your armor and shit like that. So, you're showing up, you don't have anything. Hey, man, can I borrow a battle axe or something?
I'm going to use my femur because I have nothing else. I think you're absolutely right. Have the fallen character's player say, well, I need to be buried with my armor and my weapon. I don't care who it would benefit. That's what my people would do.
That's my beliefs.
And you people know that.
Right. Now, and if at that point they take it, curse it.
That curse the shit out of it, and if it goes south on them, then you deserve it.
Yep. And they don't need to know how to remove that curse. And
This
it doesn't
is
have
true.
to be remove curse. I think it could be something totally out of the realms of what that person will think. Make them have to tithe 1,000 gold to one. They would never guess that.
Again, I'm
Evil.
probably a little more evil than most. I would have the spirit of that person follow them until they were exorcised and be sitting there floating on the border ethereal, and every time they go into combat would step up and push their hand a little to the left, push their hand a little to the right. That weapon would not function. The magic that was imbued in it would recognize the fact that there's an entity there and would not recognize the person wielding it, but the entity that's alongside of them. Things along those lines. So until you actually go into some pretty deep divination, you'd never know there was a spirit there. It's cursed. No, there's no curse in that weapon. You're being followed by a spirit, which is entirely different.
See, now that's where I wouldn't end the game. I wouldn't end the session because there's a lot of fun to be had with that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that would stay there for a while.
Instead, I would be like, okay, player of the fallen character, you stay right where you are.
There'd be a lot of note passing in my world.
We're going to have a little sidebar, and
No need to make another character sheet. Trust me.
Yep.
I mean, it's almost like, if you ran over like a 15-year-old person and his 15-year-old spirit followed you and tormented you as you're trying to heal other people. Oh, I'm sorry. No. He didn't run him over. He tried to heal him and failed miserably and poisoned him instead. Yeah, that was it.
We won't talk about that.
That was
please.
it. Yeah, I just an instant I'm drawing off the top of my head. I don't recall who that
I
the
recall
player
it.
character was. But
Don't look at me. Stop looking at me.
yeah, as a player character, I would have them at the table and pull them aside. We're going to take a break here real quick. Pull that player aside and go, I'm going to be passing you notes, and here's why, and have fun with it. But as a game master, if someone dies at your table, don't apologize.
no, because if someone dies at your table, it shouldn't be because you killed them purposefully.
Absolutely.
You know, it was an outcome of whatever hazard or combat they
Circumstance.
were involved in, and you may want to apologize, but it's just that's the nature of the work.
Yeah, there are dice for a reason. There is a lot of things that are determined by random outcome that are manifested through the roll of dice. And your dice did not protect you, and now you're dead. That's not the Game Master's fault. Unless the Game Master can control the dice.
Yep.
Or does it behind the screen where you can't see.
We all stare at Scott.
You have not enough experience
I have.
to pass judgment. And
Whereas my dice are cursed and I can control them. And it's almost like I willed them to die. But that's,
if
you can't prove that.
Didn't do any of the things that we just outlined, right? So if you didn't do any of those dick things,
Yeah.
then there's no reason to apologize.
There's not.
Right? It's just, you gave him a good death. You gave him the opportunity to not go out with like
An infected paper cut.
fizzle, but you let him go out big.
Hero style, yeah.
Yeah. And you did all those other things, it was an honorable way to go. It was an epic moment because death can be pretty cool for your character if it's done right. So don't apologize. Don't ever apologize.
They are heroes, and heroes die.
Yeah.
And if you watch Japanese animation, all the heroes die.
Everybody dies.
Every hero dies in Japanese animation.
We call it anime now.
Oh, anime. Oh, is that it? Oh, okay.
It was what was the derogatory term that was used in like the 70s and Japanime or something like that? Yeah, just
Something
anime
like
now.
that,
Oh, it's just anime. Okay.
We're teaching Bill a new language.
Every episode, I learn brand new things that I will readily forget.
That's because we have kids that teach us.
Yes,
There you go. See, I have.
He's got a puppy though.
I have a
It's
puppy.
not a puppy, it's a horse.
But it's a big puppy.
It's a big puppy.
Yes, it is.
I just took him to the vet. He's 85 pounds and he's only a year old.
He's a wee doggy.
He's a wee doggy. He's a lap dog. I need a big lap. Don't apologize for your character's death. It's not your fault.
Yeah, it's not the DM's fault.
It's not the DM's fault.
And players, you could say, well, the encounter was unbalanced. Yeah, so what?
Encounters really shouldn't be balanced.
They should not be. I'm a firm believer that encounters should not be balanced.
Yeah. If you think you're outmatched, run away.
Or just walk away. You don't
Walk
always,
away.
Yeah.
Avoid it. You have those options.
Talk your way out. Any number of things. And can I just say, I don't like death saves. You want to really up the mortality? Get rid of those stupid death saves.
Yeah.
I will.
I'm with you on that one. It's already there's everyone, including the baker's wife, can heal now.
Yeah.
So why do we have death saves? Suck it up, Sally. It happens, and it's an adventure. You're a hero. You're battling monsters. Do you think you're going to win every time? I'm sorry, that's just me ranting because I'm an old man.
I don't really even know how to counter that, so I'm not going
can't
to
either.
attempt to do that. But yeah, you know what? Add a little mortality to your game. You can certainly do that and have players that are happy with the outcome,
You
even
can
if
have-
the characters die.
You can have mortality and still have an awesome game and have your characters come up and go, you know something? I may have died, but that was probably the best damn awesome death I've ever had.
Yeah,
And move on.
yeah, and I up the mortality at the end of a campaign. So it's like I'm expecting someone to die in a blaze of glory, because isn't that like an epic thing?
Why are you staring at Lou when you said that?
He's still waiting.
None of Lou's characters have died in any of my tables, and I'm not too sure why.
You had a real serious look and you leered at Lou when you said that. Is this something awaiting, perhaps on the horizon?
I was thinking the same thing.
Lou's gonna get got.
And that's 5 things GMs should not do when a character dies. We'll see you next time in the dojo.
That's going to conclude this episode. Thanks for tuning in and listening. Please subscribe to the podcast for more great content. If you'd like to hear a particular topic, you can reach us on Facebook at the Dungeon Masters Dojo, or you can drop us an email at thedungeonmastersdojo@gmail.com. Thank you, and have a good day.